In the quiet town of Alawarra, life moved at a slow, predictable pace. Everyone knew everyone, and neighbors often left their doors unlocked. It was the kind of place where a crime like this had never happened, or so they thought. One night, a wealthy businessman, Chief Alade, was found dead in his study. His safe had been broken into, and large sums of money and some very important documents were missing. The police came, they saw, they investigated, and ruled his death a heart attack. But the townspeople knew there was more to the story. After all, why would the richest man in town die a pauper's death? What made the case even stranger was the fact that all the CCTV cameras in the mansion were mysteriously offline. The family insisted that the chief was alone in the house that night. But Chief's loyal driver, Musa, swore he heard raised voices that night. He told the police he heard the chief arguing with someone just before he died, but the family quickly hushed him up, insisting the chief was a diabetic and often heard talking to himself. The police believed them, and the case was soon forgotten, but Musa never stopped asking questions. He suspected that Chief's own relatives had something to do with his death. Months turned 2 years, the case grew cold, and the truth was buried. Literally, Chief was laid to rest in his mansion. But 5 years later, one of Chief's estranged sons, Tund, fell into financial ruin. In a drunken stupor, he poured his heart out to a friend, revealing that he and 2 of his relatives had planned their father's death, staging a heart attack with poison and stealing his wealth. They had even paid off certain police officers and government officials to cover up the crime. That friend was actually an informant working with the police on another case. When he heard Tund's confession, he wasted no time in informing the authorities. The sleepy criminal case was suddenly back on the front burner. Old files were dusted off, forensic evidence was re-examined, and the missing puzzle pieces began to fit. It was a shocking revelation. The truth was damning. Chief's own children had betrayed their own father, plotting against him for inheritance. And some of the men in uniform had been bought and paid for. The arrest that followed sent shock waves through the town. Tund and his accomplices were tried in court, and the once cold case became one of the most famous criminal trials in Nigeria. When it was all over, Musa, the driver who had remained loyal, stood in court and wept. Not because the killers had been caught, but because the man he served faithfully finally got justice. And so, the crime they thought they could bury in silence was dug up by the very hand of truth.